We're now in for a treat because this group, special group of Asian American young professional leaders, they represent the first cohort of AABDC's Young Professionals Leadership Program. Eric Liu, Senior Advisor in Digital Transformation at NYU, and is a professor and the Young Professionals Leadership Program Coordinator, will moderate this conversation, and which is really going to be about looking back. It's a year in review. What are the lessons learned from this program? What have we taken away, and what are we going to do going forward? So I'm going to hand off here and step off the podium.
Thank you very much. Over the course of the past year, 12 months, we've seen this group grow, as well as, for me, inspire a new generation of young professionals. So I'm going to talk about a little bit in terms of the YPLP, what's it about, throughout the 12 months in terms of what they have accomplished, as well as a background what the program have offered. In terms of the Asian American professionals, this particular program had brought them a lot of leadership opportunities, communication opportunities, networking, and also finding their sort of inner self as well, as we heard from many of the leaders and panels from prior. This YPLP program also offered a reciprocal platform, not only for these young professional leaders, but also the executives within their organizations, their ERGs, to also provide and give back. So for those executives that are out there, if you guys are sick of golf, participate and contribute as part of the YPLP. Over the past of these 12 months, they've also participated in one-on-one coaching sessions, master classes, and as well as a slew of networking opportunities within the Outstanding 50 network. Before we sort of head and talk and meet these stars of the program, I would also like to thank and also recognize a lot of our program committee members. As the proverb says, it takes a village to raise a child. So we're going to recognize John, who's been instrumental. One of our program committee members and also architects, Rohan Thapor. Rita Rohan, committee member. And of course, the many sponsoring organizations, many of the chief diversity officers, the managers, the human resource managers, that also have provided their contributions towards this program. The numerous executives that offer their time and also their effort and guidance to this leadership committee as well. And then also to all the speakers and executives who contributed their guidance and master classes as part of this program also, such as Indra Nooyi, former CEO of PepsiCo, Krishnan Raghabajapalan, CEO of Hydrogen and Struggles, and many more. So before we head off to the panel, let's talk through, in the next 20 to 25 minutes or so, their experience and their journey. So let's start with Estelle. We heard from our prior panel and also from the previous panels about community leaders, the importance of sort of sponsorship, as well as being the young professionals and self-belonging. In your words, in your journey, what has been your experience of this particular program and the benefits?
Only benefits. It's been an amazing experience, to be honest with you. It's been a whirlwind. I think everyone grows every day, but this particular program helped me to grow even more and even further. So I've been very lucky to be selected within our ERG, and I cannot thank enough our ERG for that opportunity. I've learned a lot of things, and I think this program helped me to heighten, or at least be better at a couple of different things. One, my leadership skills. I think through all of the mentorship, the coaching sessions that we've had, it's helped tremendously me to navigate the waters of corporate America. I know that Tanya is in the room, who's one of our mentor. She's helped me so much, and I cannot thank her enough for all of the sessions that we've done together. It helped me as well to expand my network, and we know how invaluable that is for anyone. So I've been able to meet amazing people that are part of my cohort, but also an amazing network that I know I can always call, fall back to, and have that support. So that's, again, just has been amazing. And I know Amy touched on it a little bit in terms of what is Asian for you, or what does it present to you. Tanam and I have a very similar background where we're both French, Asian, and that, gives us a very different sense of what Asian represents. And I think, sorry, I wasn't able to hear you, but, my take was how being Asian in France is very, very different because it is more of a culture of assimilation versus a culture of acceptance. And so it took me a while to really accept and be proud to be Asian. And I think that, over the past years or 10 years being here, that helped me. But really being part of this program and being part of the ERG really helped me to have that very heightened sense of pride to be Asian. So for that, I'm really thankful. And I know that you already thanked everyone in this program, but I just want to personally thank everyone for this. Again.
No, thank you. And also Lucy, who's my sort of partner in crime for this co-director, as part of this YPLP, has been instrumental in terms of bringing her experience as well as her guidance towards this particular program as well. Lucy. Thank you, Estelle. So, from your experience, you talked about a lot of leadership, talked about the different opportunities that are there. What are some of the things that you think that a ERG can potentially expand and provide something like this as part of their organization?
First of all, every ERG is very different, right? Every company is different, so I can only speak for my experience and what I would think would be recommendations, and using really just best practices and examples around. One of them is, for everyone, right? Growth comes from honest and uncomfortable conversations. And I think, what we did this year and always is really just talk about what's uncomfortable. So, we have, Amy, who just touched on it about how, she addressed the recent events. And I think, for me, one of the recommendations is to actually invite everyone to have those conversations because it is important and it is uncomfortable, but at the end of the day, this is how we grow. So that's one. I think the other one is the importance of, I think the whole point of an ERG is supporting each other, right? And I think, so then how do we do that? And are there different ways in which we can do that? So I was thinking about it and of my journey overall, and I know that I wouldn't be here today if it weren't for all of the mentors that I've had along the way. I wouldn't be who I am today. So is there a way, and again, every ERG is different, but is there a way to implement some mentorship program within the ERG to support each other in that way? And one of the books that we received, which is an amazing book, was from Maggie Chan-Jones about sponsorship. And that really just kind of opened my eyes about how important sponsorship is, right? I think at the end of the day, for everyone who's looking at progressing and career pathing, we all need a sponsor. We need mentors, but we also need sponsors to move us forward and have that pull that we really are needing as a talent overall, but especially here as an Asian talent as well. So how can we make our executive sponsors a bit more accountable? Is there something that we can frame in a way where we really have them be proactive and active in that talent development discussion? So that would be another recommendation that I have. And then finally, the last time we were here was about allyship. We talked about allyship and the importance of working together. So can we actually work amongst ourselves, amongst the different ERGs, to come up with the best way to support each other and grow and just bring awareness?
Thank you, Estelle, for that. So just moving on over to Yashi, based on a lot of these catalyzers that Estelle had just mentioned about the involvement, the allyship, what has been your experience and benefits of this particular program?
Yeah, this program has been a transformative experience for me. I was lucky to learn and interact with many accomplished individuals and mentors who were humble enough to share their life lessons, wisdom, and career advice. I also had an opportunity to meet with and connect with all the young professionals and from different companies.
You guys are great friends now, too,
yeah,
right?
Yes, we
are. We have built long-lasting relationships and an invaluable network. So this has been amazing. And there were many valuable lessons I have learned from this program. I want to highlight a few that I have been practicing in my career and also life. One is to embrace a growth mindset and always be curious. This was a common theme among all the mentors and speakers in this program. As a professional who wants to continuously grow, it's important to never stop learning and seek out new experiences. Where this can be challenging because people become complacent and just lose their curiosity.
Right.
So to combat this, you have to make a conscious effort to seek out new experiences and learning opportunities. For example, I have been asking people that I met during conferences or meetups for coffee chats, just to learn more about their life and work. And when faced with challenges at work or life, I've shifted my perspective from stress to excitement, to embrace new challenges. This has helped me stay focused and motivated to solve the problems. Another takeaway was the importance of being present, practice active listening, and speaking up. One of the mentors' advice was particularly resonated with me. She said, your company is paying for the unique perspective and ideas that you bring to the table. So don't be afraid to speak up and make a difference. This has encouraged me to be more confident in sharing my thoughts and ideas, knowing that my opinion is valued. At the same time, I stay attentive to those around me, actively listen to others, and keep an open mind to different viewpoints. This has helped me become a more effective communicator in both my professional and personal life. And one of the most impactful lessons was the ability to zoom in and zoom out. And this was from our session with Ingenuity. This basically means balancing a macro strategic perspective with a micro detail-oriented approach.
Very good. Yeah.
So to develop this skill, I always begin by considering the big picture. This involves the understanding of the overall business product strategy and market and industry trends, as well as underlying user problems.
It's sort of open up your view, not just sitting within your organization, understanding your specific function, but also expand out outside of your comfort zone.
Yeah, that's right. And at the same time, I've also focused on the specific tactics to execute the strategy effectively. And by continuously going back and forth between the big picture and the details, I was able to ensure that each informs and complements the other.
Great, thank you. That growth mindset, again, is very important. We had a number of best-selling authors come and speak with the actual mentoring class over here, provided a lot of good tips as well as different types of guidances towards that growth mindset, that continuous learning, especially in this environment. There's a lot of disruption, right, in terms of what's happening today. David, just piggybacking off of what Yashi had mentioned in terms of the growth mindset, how has this program sort of impacted your sort of career trajectory and also your view in terms of how you've grown?
Yeah, so actually, before I answer that question, I just want to make an acknowledgement. Thanks John Wang for creating this platform for us. If it wasn't for him, we won't be up here. Also want to thank Eric and Lucy and Rohan and Rita for coordinating all of this, right? Setting the curriculums for us and bringing the mentors and the executives to come speak with us, right? So as I navigate my career, right, I've been very structured my whole life. I went with the safe career path, engineering, and then after engineering, I've been on track with technical skills, where it's just very technical designer, technical supervisor, technical manager, right? So prior to this program, I've always been, thinking it's a technical term. I'm so technical. That's where I am, right? But just speaking with all these executives coming in, just having having my potential really exemplified, and having these executives having such inspiration, and a lot of these executives comes from engineering, right? Very technical, and then they made the shift, right? And that's where I see my my career sort of flips, right? Where I see the potential of being an executive one day, right? Because they had the technical portion, and then having these personal skills that all these executives possess, right? And that's one thing that I recognize, through this program with all these mentorships, workshops that we go through, and I think it's understated that with all the importance of these executives that comes in, it's because we have it twice or three times a month. So it's a lot, right? So I think it's so valuable.
Very good, very good. Now, in terms of these mentorships as well as executive sessions and coaching sessions, what are some of the key things that you have learned and also that you could be applied going forward towards your either role or in your career?
Yes, I think the key thing here is really the connection that I've made, right? Really, thank you, John, for opening your network, for this group. I think without the network and without these executives coming to us, like how often do we get to speak in an intimate setting with CEO of PepsiCo, right? CEO of these Fortune 500 companies, right? Having mentor like Tanya, she's actually one of the mentors here supporting us, and giving us career advice and just guiding us, because since we're navigating our young careers, right? And having them sort of give us perspective, because they've been through it, right? Giving us perspective and having us understand like what they went through, the decision that they made, and we sort of gravitate to that. So
Great. Thank you so much, David, for that. Veronica, you play a very special role within your organization, being the human resources personnel. You find a program like this be very beneficial, right, within the organization. What are some of the things that you have gathered, what you have learned, what are some of the particular skill sets that you can bring back into your HR role as well as the organization that will maybe contribute as part of a bigger initiative, whether it's an ERG or a DEI initiative within the organization?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm in a very unique situation, like you said. Normally when companies come to us with these initiatives, we immediately say, who are our top performers, who in the business, who on the front line, the people that are making the dollars, right? Who do we want to put out there? And so for our head of D&I to say, actually, we want Veronica to do this because you sit in HR, and part of your job as a business partner is to influence and to have those uncomfortable conversations and to help build effective teams. And there's many dimensions to what an effective team is, and part of that is D&I. So coming into this, it was very interesting. I think I had my HR hat on all the time. I never had the Veronica hat on. Like, well, no, this is what you should do, Yashi.
Right.
If you're having trouble with your manager, this is how you should coach them. So, I wasn't thinking about me.
She did help me a lot.
That's what the program is about, right?
So we did forge some really great relationships. But yeah, so then eventually I had like an aha moment of like, wait, I need to actually start thinking about me. And again, with the master classes and the mentors and the workshops, I mean, it's so easy for us to just keep working. And Lucy, with her tight schedule, is like, you guys better be online. You cannot be a minute late. These people, it's their precious time. Like, it was actually great to say, you know what? I need to, like, pencils down. We're going to have an hour, and we're going to dedicate time to us. And you don't do that often, right? And so that's what I took away from this is one, I probably will need Lucy to kind of keep me focused on my personal development after this program has ended. But
Tough love.
Yes, it was certainly tough love. But as an HR professional and what I do, I mean, my role is to influence, and my role is to help create an engaging environment for our people. And Sudha said it earlier. She took it right out of my mouth, but we always talk about psychological safety at New York Life.
Yeah.
And how do we create that for our employees? And so being a part of this program, this was my safe place that I didn't even know I needed until I was here. So I think I will take that back to my organization. And at New York Life, it's really unique in that the head of business partnering, which is the team that I work for, she used to be the head of DE&I. So her having those two hats for me is actually very special, and one of the reasons why I'm very happy with the company that I'm working at, because I know that she will support the initiatives that I would like to push out with my businesses. So it's been such an incredible year.
Great, thank you. I'm glad you put both the HR hat as well as your own hat on there. That's what this
Eventually,
program is about, a platform to provide, your inner self, that openness, as well as that opportunity, not just from a leadership development standpoint, not just from a skills and communications and, mentoring and coaching, but also an opportunity for you, right, to go in as yourself, right? Having that open platform. It's very seldom that you get over, hundreds of executives, that you can ask for guidance, seek guidance and mentorship with. Going back to Estelle, in terms of your sort of specific role in your organization, as well as your involvement in ERG, what would be some of the action items that, learning from this particular program that you can bring into your organization itself, and what would those actions be?
I mean, I do feel like we touched on it a little bit earlier, but it's really the idea again of like, think again, depending on the company and depending on the ERG, but how do we, and again, maybe it's because I am a young professional, so I'm looking at what's my next move and moving up that ladder and figuring out who I am and what I want, but having this support that helps you to get there as a shoulder to rely on, I think is super beneficial. Because in the corporate world, I feel like it can feel very lonely very quickly. And so that's one, but also it makes it almost feel like, okay, am I the only one in this position? And I think that being able to discuss and having that safe space makes a huge difference. So continuously having conversations and being able to build that network and that safe space is invaluable in a way of for anyone to be able to grow. And then additionally, I think we touch on those like structures, ideas, like can we create that?
Yeah.
It takes a lot of work. I'm happy to volunteer.
This is our first program because
Yeah.
we structured a program in a way that we felt that based from all the advisors, the committee members, and contributors that this would be a baseline. However, with any first year program, there's always room for improvement. So we're always looking for additional types of discussions, opportunities, sponsorships, things of the like to help bolster the program even more next year. So I'm glad to have these sponsor organizations as well. We're going to open up the forum here next 5 to 10 minutes or so to see if there's any questions. I see a lot of younger professionals, Gen Zs, as part of the group here. So I'm sure all of you have a lot of questions or in terms of interest potentially to participate in the program or hear from these young professionals as part of their journey. Tanya, one of our mentors as part of the program. Go ahead.
My name is Tanya Gilpatrick. I'm an executive coach and a mentor for this fabulous group. First, I want to say thank you not only to John and Eric and Lucy and all the other support people that were there to help this program, but of course, all the mentees. As a mentor, I think it's really important, as much as the mentees are receiving valuable insight, provocative questions, reflecting upon what's important to them and where they want to go, we're also learning from them. And I think that's really important. So as you put these programs together, or consider putting these programs together, know that their insight, their experiences, where they're from, what's valuable to them, their values, will tell you, how do I align myself with them? How do I create a career path for them? Because you'll get to understand them that much more. so this is also reciprocated, right? And I've been able to, honestly, been able to keep in touch with most of them and all of them, and I still want to continue those relationships. It's continuous, and as you talk about community, right? As you give to me, I give back to you, and it's just, it continues that way. So that's what I'd love to see going forward, is the ability to be able to network, build a bigger mentee program, mentorship program, but keep those relationships cyclical, keep those relationships going. A question, of course. What has been the most surprising thing that you learned about yourself in the mentee program?
Any volunteers?
I guess I could go
David, yeah.
first. I think for me, like I said it in my previous discussion, where, I was always a technical person, right? Always, technical designer, supervisor, manager, and really going through this, I didn't expect, meeting so many executives that had that background, and then making that shift and then become executives, right? I think that was a surprise for me, seeing that. And I believe Lucy, she was technically, and then she moved into sales. So yeah, it's sort of like that really like, wow, there's that many of, technical people that made that transfer. So I think that surprised me. Yep.
I think, I knew it, but I think this year more than ever, how being vulnerable is a strength. And I think that was the key learning for me, or at least that thing that I knew a little bit of, but now I'm like, yes, like, let's do it. Let's have uncomfortable conversations. Let's find the things that, like, are shaking you to the core, and then try to understand why and grow from there.
Very good, very good.
And for me, it's the most surprising thing was we were able to build a really strong relationships across all of us, the mentees and also the mentors. There were programs before, but the relationships just kind of fade away when time moves. So, but this was a long-lasting relationship and network we have been building.
Great. Sort of like an MBA program. But Veronica, anything to add? Or?
I mean, I would actually agree with Yashi. I didn't expect to become as close as I have with my cohort, and we are missing 2 people on the stage today, which is unfortunate, but we really have become a very close-knit community, and we leverage each other so much for work advice, personal advice, relationship advice. We're all young professionals, right? So it's like, hey, when you want? Like,
Wonderful.
So it's so lovely, and jokes aside, I think my aha moment is, as an HR professional, where my job is to remind people to develop their people, I really haven't done that at all for myself. So.
Right. So by the way, Dominic and Tiffany couldn't make it, but there are 2 other individuals as part of this YPLP. Tiffany recently got a promotion, so I guess the program is doing something. Any other questions, part of Q&A from the audience there? Hey.
What would you guys say to either yourselves before you had joined this program, or to someone who might be considering joining it?
You get out what you put in.
Absolutely, yeah.
Your energy, your time, being present, that at the end will yield a lot of outcome.
I would say be ready to have some really real tough conversations. The tough love, right, really pushed us to think beyond. So, yeah.
Just think you got an MBA without taking any tests.
This is like their final, right?
We're going to be great on this.
No exam, no study. And all they got is all the executive telling them, the way to move forward. How good is that?
All right, we have time for one more question, and then we'll go to closing remarks.
My name's Stuart. I'm with Target. I'm just curious, for ERG leaders in the room, what advice would you give to us for those looking to strengthen their own leadership development programs?
I'm not a leadership, an ERG lead, but I think, some of the examples of...
You did volunteer.
Right.
I did volunteer. But I think, again, it's thinking about that lens of growth, right? I think to me it's super, super important. Is whatever you do within that ERG needs to be through the lens of support and growth, and whatever parameters it takes place in your company. Like, I think that's why I was throwing the idea that, like, the idea of the mentorship or really just making your executives sponsors accountable. Like, I think just concrete things is one pillar, which to me is key, but two is fostering that community and fostering that culture of growth. That's for all of the members to be part of it, but I think those two pillars are, to me, super important.
Fantastic. So, quickly, one word, part of the program. There's one word. We can close out. Inspiring.
Connection.
Connection.
I'm going to use multiple words, sorry. I know that was not the exercise. But one of our mentor was Johnson, and he said, is it a bamboo ceiling or sticky floors?
Got it.
And that really stuck with me and spoke to me. So I want to share that.
Fantastic. Yashi.
Horizon.
Horizon. Wonderful, wonderful. Before we go, closing remarks. Lucy, who's been our co-director with the closing remarks for this program.
Okay, and I'm also the only one who has the handheld mic. So first of all, this whole thing is inspired by Rohan, and he will be up. And Rohan basically asked the question, right? I look around, there are not too many people look like us in those important jobs. So how do we get there? So he talked to John, and then John called me and say, what should we do? And I remember in 2006, I was at IBM, and our ERG went to the chief executive officer at that time is Sam Parmesano. Pay attention to our constituency. You are a technology company. You need us. So we did a Asian Leadership Summit that's sponsored by him. After that, I was really proud, right? And then John Iwata, who is the chief marketing officer, pulled me aside and have a coaching with me and said, Lucy, conference is great. It brings attention to the problem. But the real work is in developing the pipeline so that people aspire to have leadership, they can realize their full potential and maximize the contribution. So when John contacted me, I said, it took 20 years, so let's do it, right?
Better late than never.
And then we created this program, and out of this program, Rohan actually managed the master class. Master class is, we contacted an executive, he accepted the invitation, he come to tell his own personal story. And then he leave a one-pager that he write to his younger self. And we have a collection of that. So let me share with you what I tell my younger self, okay? Lucy, you are about to get on a leadership journey, which is moving from fitting in to belonging and finally become who you're destined to be. Fitting in is about assessing a situation and becoming who you need to be accepted. Fitting in is an emotion hunger for visibility. I'm here, look at me. I'm worthy of your attention. We all went through that, right? And then you gain confidence, you meet people, they encourage you, just like what you heard. And then you feel, I belong here. Right? I work for IBM, and I actually one day feel that I belong here. And that day, I actually walked the hallway with my head real high, even though I'm really short. And what is belonging? Belonging is cultivating clarity and discernment that lead towards your authenticity. True belonging only happens when you can present your authentic, imperfect self to the world. And then you focus on intention and purpose. Also, risk vulnerability. We all vulnerable. So what, right? But build resilience. That's belonging. But we don't stop there. Becoming Becoming is when you find love in your relationship, you have trust, when your career is meaningful and fulfilling. You are living with your purpose. And you never stop learning because purpose is bigger than you, right? You never stop learning and you keep improving yourself. But you also have a certain level of confidence in yourself that everything you do will only have positive results. Even if you fail, you still have positive results because you learn why it doesn't work. Right? What is failure? Failure really is just missing expectation. It's no more than that. All right, so this is what I wrote to myself, to the youngest self, right? As I was younger, I write this, is what I'm sharing with you. I want to learn more about professionalism and team leadership. I want my work not only to create economic values, but to contribute to the maintenance of public goods in society. I want to apply my capacity to solve worldly problems, to perform them well for the benefit of others. I want to be able to articulate my idea and values, to develop teachable points of view, to develop personal stories that bring my views to life. In order to do so, I need to continue to learn, to grow my skills and knowledge. I also need to acquire hands-on experience, expertise, establish credibility, and invest time to build trusting relationship. I actually wrote this when I was in my 30s. So if you like this program, you heard all the benefit they're getting, and you're executive in the organization, or you're up-and-coming leader, you want to join this program, talk to your company, call John Wong right away. And John will get a meeting together face-to-face, and Eric and I will participate, right? Because what we want to do is we want to start this year's class in March, the latest in April. Okay, so if you're really interested, you really want to be part of this, please call John, and very quickly we get together. And the class is not going to be really big because look at, right, it's about the relationship, is about all the things that they were saying. So we are not looking for quantity, we're looking for quality. And then each of them is going to amplify what they learn, so they go out and reach 20, 30 people. That's how we build the pipeline, right? Okay?
Very good.
Thank you.
So before we end this, I would like to present, everyone a. We have to.
Yeah, they get a plaque
Yeah.
that they graduated.
Peace first. Yashi.
Yeah.
Thank you, John.
Well, thank you. And Estelle.
Thank you so much, John.
Great. Thank you. David.
So nice.
Veronica.
Thank you, John, so
Okay,
much.
great. And then we have also for the architect of this program, and Rohan. All right, here you go. Thank you for all the work you've done.
Thank you, Rohan.
Marina, there's been also free help for this program.
John, how about we all take a picture?
Yes,
Yeah.
we will, but then before, I believe we also wanted to thank Lucy
Oh, thank you so
for
much.
directing this, as well as Eric.
The water.
Okay, thank you so much. Welcome on up.
Okay. Oops, sorry, Yashi. Sorry, Yashi.
You want to get it?
Okay.
You want them to come in front, so they're
Yeah, we'll come in front.
In the
of-
front.
Oh, there we go.
at the back and come in front.
Go ahead.
Watch your step. Watch your step.
Yeah.